Hi, I'm Sylvie from HR.com, and I'll be your webcast host today. Thank you for joining today's webcast, The Future of Employee Communications, Knowledge Creation with Communications that Resonate, sponsored by Learn Your Benefits and presented by Brian Gazella and Corey Erb. This webcast has been pre-approved for one HRCI credit. Please be sure to attend the complete webcast in order to receive your credit. Throughout the webcast, please submit your questions using the Q&A tab on your controls, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end of the presentation. And it's now my pleasure to turn it over to today's presenters.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us here for the future of employee communications, knowledge creation with communications that resonate. Once again, my name is Brian Gazella. I am with Learn Your Benefits. I'm joined here today with Corey Erb, my co-founder here at Learn Your Benefits. And during this presentation, we're going to cover this agenda right here. So why us? Why should Learn Your Benefits be talking about the future of employee communications? And then we'll move over to sort of cue up the conversation with trends and obstacles for communications. You know, what are the trends in terms of adding benefits? What are the trends in technology? What are the trends in what employees are looking for? Just to sort of prepare for our conversations when we get to the tactical approach to creating communications that resonate. Then I'm going to hand it over to Corey Erb, who's going to talk about the do's and don'ts of concise communications, you know, keeping things brief and keeping them so that they resonate with the employees. And then close with just a little bit of a presentation of what Learn Your Benefits does for employers. As I move into this presentation, I'm going to go ahead and close my camera off. But I'll turn it back on at the end just to wave goodbye. So now I'm going to dive into the actual meat of the presentation here as I shut off my camera and talk about who Learn Your Benefits is as I said I would. So who are Corey and I? What is this thing called Learn Your Benefits? And then we'll move in really into the meat of the presentation. So my name's Brian again. I am one of the co-founders here. Before we founded Learn Your Benefits, I was a finance and an operations person in an advertising agency. And with that, and before that, spent a lot of time doing organizational development, finance, and strategy. My co-founder, though, spent significant time doing benefits communications for really Fortune 1000 organizations on hire. And what he really noticed during his career doing that was small organizations all the way up to large organizations need to be looking at how they communicate and potentially doing it more frequently during the year. And so we got together, formed Learn Your Benefits. We have hundreds and hundreds of organizations, hundreds of thousands of employees see our communications every day. And this is really what they see. It's Learn Your Benefits. It's a video-focused communications platform that we pride ourselves on giving employers something that is great for open enrollment, but also great for onboarding and really everything in between. Think targeting results year round. The secret sauce, as you will, is the platform is able to change in real time all the content, the user experiences, et cetera, to help employers raise the prominence of content and to target specific results or promote specific benefits. Everything we do is desktop and mobile. And these are some of the fun user experiences that you can get in Learn Your Benefits. Again, trying to drive engagement during the year. I just show this not as a sales pitch in the beginning, but just to show you that we communicate with organizations every single day. We're experts at crafting videos. We've got clients that have hundreds of thousands of views on our content, and that's the expertise that we bring them, is trying to create that. The values that we founded the company on are really important to know as well. And so I hope you sense at some point here some passion of what the heck do we believe in? Why the heck do we, plant our flag in the sand in such a way? And it really comes down to these couple of values that we have here. We're huge proponents of frequent communications. Just based on research, you guys see this day in and day out through HR.com and other articles and information providers. It boosts knowledge, it boosts awareness during the year. And then that knowledge, then we believe that awareness, that frequent communications creates awareness, and then that awareness drives knowledge, and that knowledge will boost adoption. It'll help you control costs. And we'll get into more of that in just a second. We're huge believers in videos as well. Video boosts retention and behavior change. And we really believe If you're not already using video, you really should be strongly considering it, because video has never been more affordable, more accessible, or more expected than really ever before. And as bandwidth and cell phones get faster, it's going to get even more accessible and more expected. And then closing out what our real expectations are is employers need to be thinking about instant answers. We need to give people immediate answers. The cell phone, since 2006 with the iPhone, people have been hardwired now to find an instant answer on their mobile device. And we really strongly encourage our employers to think about that. People prefer a single destination. A lot of employers, large organizations and small organizations, send their employees to 12 different destinations rather than a single one. But we're a huge advocate for using a single one that's dedicated and its primary purpose is education, because a lot of other organizations, a lot of other products, our education is a secondary thing. These are some of the clients we work with, again, just to sort of show that this is who we work with, that, you know, we're not duct tape and baling wire behind the scenes, that these are some of the clients that we help every single day. So now we're going to dive into the first polling question to cue up the conversation. I would love to hear from you guys. What is your biggest communications challenge right now? So Sylvia, if you don't mind, would you mind pulling up the first question? We have questions like reaching remote employees, or getting, my employees are giving us too many questions, or I don't have the budget to invest in communications, or employees aren't shopping for their healthcare, our costs are getting too high. So let me know, what is your biggest challenge right now? We have too many benefits. That is true. I'm just reading that last question on there. I mean, some organizations are adding benefits all the time, and it's actually something we're going to talk about here in a second. So what does the survey say? Number one, 41% employees are overwhelmed with information. Yeah, absolutely. We keep dumping out handouts and printouts, and then reaching remote employees, which are the people that are getting all that information. So it kind of goes hand in hand. We're seeing the perfect storm in a lot of organizations. They're all remote and they're all getting inundated with information, emails and Slack and Teams messages, etc. So yeah, it's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm going to try to bring some of that in here as we move forward in the presentation. So speaking of the presentation, let's cue up trends and obstacles. And again, I want to talk about these as it relates to what are employees feeling, or what are we seeing employees are asking for and employers, and then what are their obstacles, and then we'll move and pivot towards the end of the presentation on how can we actually boost awareness and boost knowledge, the future of communications, if you will, is something that we'll close out, and then do's and don'ts. So the first conversation I want to have is talking about more and more benefits. This little photo I just grabbed off of Employee Benefits News, credit to the person that actually designed it. The article talked about expanding benefits from Voya to Prudential to Chipotle. They're all adding more and more benefits. Specifically, this is a client of ours on our platform. I've removed all the names, etc. But I just wanted you to take a look at how they're breaking out their benefits. This is pretty typical that they'll have multiple benefits, dozens of optional benefits, from eye insurance to employee discounts to dental insurance to supplementary benefits. This is pretty typical inside of an organization. And then it just keeps getting worse. This is another organization of ours, a client of ours. They have mental health resources that they're prioritizing these days, life insurance, rethink benefits, commuter programs, discounts, pet insurance. This is, again, we have organizations that have even more and more benefits. So one of the primary trends right now is organizations competing by adding additional benefits to win additional employees, or address a certain need, or address a specific condition. And how do you possibly educate, and how do you possibly engage on that information, considering that is just more information? We just heard from you guys a second ago that employees are inundated with information. How do you possibly talk about the interconnectedness with those, with the existing systems we have, with Ben admin systems or decision support tools? They don't do anything to talk about the interconnectedness of those, or how to use them, or how to optimize them in real time. More trends and just points to talk about. You said employees don't know a lot about their benefits. Well, it's really, really true. We see it all the time, even internally. We see it all the time with our clients. Employees don't even know you have a mental health, assessments 15, 30 minutes as via an EAP. How could they possibly know? Because you couldn't cover that in one single open enrollment meeting that lasted for an hour long. Spouses rarely have a complete picture. Again, so many employers are locking their benefits information behind a firewall, or they're putting it into decision support tools that the employees don't even, or the spouses don't even know they have. So they rarely have a complete picture, and very typically they're making significant decisions in their care and their family's care, and they don't even know what the employer offers or programs that might be related to shopping for healthcare. Again, they're not getting a complete picture. Just think about the cost that has to your plan, whether it's self-insured or fully insured. Employees want instant answers. Again, employers are piecing together 12 different machines or 12 different tools. You should really have a single destination to give and provide instant answers, because people will kind of begin sort of just doing what they want to do if they can't get an immediate answer. And then employees have different learning needs. Some employees want brief videos. Some employees want a full curriculum and want to know the whole picture. Some employees want hand-holding and they want one-on-one conversations with people. Well, how do you possibly address that without spending an entire fortune on your benefits communication? So you got to choose wisely on how you're doing that and how you're communicating to them. And employees need clarity and brevity. I like to say the communication's got to resonate. Try to use examples, or they got to know, oh, I'm single, or I'm married, or I'm nearing retirement. What does that benefit do for me? How can I use it today? What have you done for me lately? And then all of these trends, we're adding benefits. Employees have different learning needs. How do we possibly talk about the interconnectedness? Common strategies aren't helping. Decision support tools are becoming very ubiquitous inside abandonment systems. Certainly a lot of communications tools that are out there. Those are fantastic tools when you're choosing a specific benefit, but how does that help with mental health awareness or shopping tools or using your benefits real time? They help you choose a car off a car, but they don't, or a car lot as an example, or the metaphor we like to use is decision support tools. They can help you choose a minivan or a pickup truck. They don't teach you how to drive or maintain that van or that pickup truck. And then different learning needs. If I'm rewired for, I just need short, give me the answer and let me move on with my life. Whereas taking a long period of time to go through some sort of questionnaire, I begin to lose interest in that. Not to mention, a lot of employees kind of choose the same as last year's Sally, same as last year benefit plan. So they're not necessarily helping. Abandonment systems, again, they're locked behind a firewall very regularly, and you don't get spouse access with that. You certainly don't want your employees sharing their username and password and authentication key codes, if you have them, with your spouses. Now they have access to whatever it is the employee has access to. And then they don't have clarity and brevity. And again, they're not talking about wellness and all the other benefits. And then custom, who's got the time and the money for that? So, and then we're building up another layer on top of it. If we, knowing that we're adding benefits, existing tools aren't necessarily working, or existing processes aren't necessarily working, what the heck happens if we don't do it well? 49% of employees, thank you to Armada Care for this, by the way, 49% of employees will look for a new job due to confusion or dissatisfaction with their benefits. You guys are spending a fortune on benefits, and you know this, and it's really, really critical to communicate that without inundating them with information. So what we like to talk about is pulling them along or bringing them along in the process of understanding their benefits. Let them learn non-linearly, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then one more data point, 78% of employees reported they're more likely to stay with an employer because of their benefits programs. Now, I don't know the cross-section, I don't know what the N of whatever this research was, but it's really, really true. Employees are feeling inundated. They don't know what navigation, they don't know how to navigate it. They don't know if you even have a disease or condition-specific app or ergonomics, you name it. And it's really, really important to think about promoting your benefits a little bit differently, which is something I'm going to start talking about right now. What this presentation is absolutely about is creating knowledge with communications that resonate. And the communications is not only what it is that people are seeing and reading, communications is also how you're presenting it and the frequency at which you're presenting it. And so that's what I'm going to cover over the next 15 to 20 minutes here, is how do we actually create knowledge through communications that resonate. I have a little wonky animation thing here too, so bear with me on the do's and don'ts of videos. So this is our belief. It gets back into those values you saw a little bit earlier. Number one, frequent communications boost knowledge and awareness. That's not just us planting a flag in the sand because we wanted to say it. It's research backed. We've been reading it in MetLife studies for the last 15 years. The time is now to begin communicating more frequently, elegantly, without a lot of time investment, a lot of time cost. We know how incredibly overworked a lot of HR teams are. Additionally, then, as you read earlier, videos boost retention and behavior change. Cool, Brian, I get it. But let me talk real quickly, is we're going to talk a little bit more about videos later on the do's and don'ts of actually doing good, concise, brief videos that resonate. Corey's going to talk about those in a second, so I'm not going to cover that right now. So just stay tuned a little bit later into the presentation to see some of those things, because it's not enough just to have video. The videos need to hit certain checkpoints, and we've learned that because we have analytics in our system. We know what videos work, we know what videos don't work. So then our successful formula, which we're going to talk about here in just a second, is frequent communications using engaging videos will boost knowledge. That knowledge then will help employees adopt lower cost plans, because the communications in theory will resonate and help them move and navigate to those plans that really do make sense for them. They'll participate in wellness programs. They'll be healthier overall, which will then lower your overall employer costs or your premium costs. It'll drive awareness. It'll boost the value of your total awards just by promoting it. It's higher retention. You know it is. We've got some great case studies on the power of just a concise set of videos that talk about moving to high deductible health plans, what that can achieve in terms of ROI. So now let's move into a thicker part of this presentation on that tactical approach, trying to give you something you can write down in a notebook to think about promoting your benefits as a marketer might. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but then I'm going to before I move into that though, I'm going to give you a little tongue-in-cheek thing. We've all seen the Vince Lombardi quotes out there, and my business partner and co-founder here is a giant Packer fan. So I would be remiss if I didn't put in a picture of Vince Lombardi and put a little tongue-in-cheek into it. We're big believers that championships are won with 365 days of prep, not 2 weeks. A football coach is coaching their players on reps, on the playbook, on athletic training, on their roles and on their positions, 365 days of the week, not 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl when they're off. And so that's the quote, not Vince Lombardi, but it could have been. It could have been something he would have said. We're big believers in that open enrollment is that 2 weeks. Communicating 2 weeks and your actual end of open enrollment is the Super Bowl. You are not setting yourself up for success. We really want to strongly encourage you to bring communications out into the rest of the year with something that's simple and elegant for you to use, which you can actually piece together with tools and things you already have, or look for solutions like Learn Your Benefits. So more research, right? I've said this 1,000 times, so let me just kind of show you. These are articles that I found on the web, and a few places I obviously give credit to them here. So a business solver, we're fairly familiar with who they are. The average employee spends 17 minutes per year electing their benefits during open enrollment. They're inundated with information, as we said earlier in that presentation. So how can we effectively use that 17 minutes, even though that employees are doing same as last year in many cases? You can't. You need to spread the communications out more frequently in the year, as Voya Financial says here with Mona. Trying to give them all the information during open enrollment is like cramming for a final. Well, that worked well for me in college, but it certainly doesn't help me now in my day-to-day. I need time to make a decision. I need to know all the facts. I need to know all the variables, and then I can make a decision in my role here. And that's the way a lot of employees are beginning to appreciate or beginning to study their benefits. A lot of employees spend hours preparing an email or hours researching a new phone before they make a decision. And that's where we need to get people to be doing with their benefits in the things that you guys are offering to maximize the value of those benefits. Mona here continues to talk about common missteps that Voya has found in communicating their benefits, not communicating year round, not using language that's understood, complex jargon we talk about, and not communicating through multiple channels, so print, mobile, SMS text, push alerts, things like that. You get it. Year-round communications, Brian, all right, that's enough. So now let me just talk about tactically a little bit on how we help our employers or coach them into it whether they're using learning benefits or they're just using learning benefits for videos. We do a lot of custom videos for employers. So we coach them on how to use them in some of our communication consulting. Okay, don't panic. Don't take 1,000 notes on this. This is just a photo I pulled, credit to the top credit there, on a marketing communications approach. And that's something that I'm going to talk about here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, is in a marketer, think Target. As they're gearing up for back to school specials, which they're going to be doing here probably in the next 60 days. Before they do that, they're going to set up their website on target.com to prioritize back to school, backpacks, pencils, pens, maybe, you know, wellness checks through CVS, something like that. They're going to elevate all the things that are relevant to back to school on their website. And then they're going to be following this kind of process. Their marketing teams are, what are the tactics we can do that raise awareness and research? So they're going to do online ads. They're going to send you a push alert if you have the Target app on your phone. They're going to do blogs. They're going to sponsor an influencer on YouTube. They're going to drive you to target.com for consideration. Oh, what does Target have? Oh, that's a cool backpack. Or gosh, I really need to get my son some new shoes. So now you're on target.com and you're evaluating your various shoes. You're narrowing down your options. Oh no, now you have $400 worth of stuff in your target.com cart. You're going to purchase it, and then Target's going to send you something in an email that says, hey, how did you enjoy those shoes? Are those great shoes? Come back to Target and get that cool feeling later on. Marketers are incredibly skilled at following these sequences to help you and nurture you along in that buying process, intentionally and unintentionally. And so I really strongly encourage our clients to start thinking about benefits communications frequently through the year in this style of format, and be able to do it without hiring an expensive agency, maybe potentially using the tools you already have. And that's what I want to talk about, is our recommended process for communicating more frequently through the year, starting with Shuffle. Again, I talked about target.com and that they're changing their website to prepare it for people to come to the site. They'll eventually, well, Target's, you know, obviously incredibly sophisticated, so they know who you are, they know what you've bought in the past. Or Amazon.com is another great example. Hey, last time you were in here, you bought this laundry detergent. Is it time to buy this laundry detergent now? So automatically it's shuffling the content and recommending new things for you to buy. They know you better than we hope they do. Then they're running promotions, and then retaining the attention and evaluate, which is really our proprietary process that we follow here, that we're really sharing with you guys now, is prepare your website, run promotions frequently through the year, provide additional content around that so people can non-linearly learn more. So maybe communicate with a video to start, and then more additional handouts or flyers or things to go with it, or follow it up with it, and then measure the engagement with that. And again, I'm going to talk about that. But at first, it starts with, well, what are we going to say? What is this graphic here is hopefully representing to you a content calendar. And that's what Target is doing. Back to school, and then it's Halloween, and then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's the Christmas holidays, and then it's you know, January and gym, you know, they're promoting their athletic wear. Then, you know, obviously you get it. They're preparing this content calendar well in advance, and that's what we really encourage our employers to think of. Doesn't need to be huge. I mean, it could be 6 pieces, 6 things that we're trying to target this year. We're implementing a diabetes app. We're going to do ergonomics awareness. We're going to do health financial awareness in June, etc. Set up that calendar, get your hands on the content from your vendors, and begin uploading it to your site. And then you're going to drive them to that site to make them aware. You're targeting results in those things intentionally and on purpose, rather than trying to cram, hey, everybody, we have 50 benefits during the 2 weeks leading up to open enrollment. So let's talk about that shuffle step, the first one. Make sure you're using the tools you have available to you or other options to think about prominence or call to action. What is that one video you need them to see? What is that one handout they must absolutely watch or download or look at or share with their family? Make sure that's prominent in front of their face. And then employee experience for different purposes. Some systems you can kind of shuffle the design of your system. Make sure you're putting that up to the top. And again, it's about engagement. It's about effectiveness when you have them there. Make sure you're using videos or print depending on the topic. Sometimes print is great if it's concise, it's infographics. Think infographics, and we all like to look at those because it's concise. And the third party is content is fine. You don't need to boil the ocean to get returns on communications. If it's front and center, it's obvious. It's not buried in a tab in a Ben admin system or something like that. If it's right in front of their face, they're going to see it. Again, you don't need to boil the ocean. What I like to talk about now a little bit is virtual benefits fairs as it relates to shuffling your content. So these types of tools are great in that they make open enrollment feel a little bit special. These systems, they're available anywhere for families and spouses. They can participate in understanding their benefits throughout the year. And then there's some tips that we like to look out for is make sure the solution you're looking for is one look awareness. Now it's, not click here, click here, click here, click here to find all the benefits. It's not like I despise photo gallery, I'll Google some recipes. What are some great grilling recipes? Here's 79 grilling recipes on some recipe website, and it's sending me through a photo gallery. Click, 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 click. You lose my attention instantaneously. Just put them on a screen for me, for the love of God. I want to watch them. I want to see what's available. So these types of tools are great, like a booth or a map, if you will, of what's available. Or here's another one, theme park ride. You go to a theme park, you get a map. These are all the rides you can ride. Start planning where you're going to go. So a landing page or a destination that's dedicated to education helps people set out their map on how they want to proceed through their experience. Think mobile. We have some clients where 5% of their site activity is mobile. We have other clients where it's 40% or 25%. So we want to be sensitive to mobile and when people are going to want to learn. Use your existing tools too. We love to see our employers set up chat for instant answers. Hey, everybody, from 10 a.m. to noon, the HR service center or the HR manager is going to make themselves available for instant answers. Come check it out. Take a look at some things benefits that might be changing. Come ask me questions. We can move on with our lives. And the same thing with using webinars and making sure people can get back to a welcome video. So a little checklist on virtual benefits fairs as it relates to kind of shuffling your site, making it feel special. Make sure we're talking about building knowledge. So that continuum of boosting awareness, let's give them communications that resonate, which will drive change then. So just think about that continuum, our mantra, our values, as I talked about earlier. Address different learning needs, print and video. A complete picture might be a longer voiceover PowerPoint, 30, 40 minutes, something like that. Then the secondary tactic is shorter pieces, maybe just a voiceover PowerPoint of your medical, and then your dental, and then your vision, and then benefits that change, and then wellness, little bite-sized pieces for people to get at. And then print for specific detail. Let them peel back the onion, if you will. But then take all that information, make it instantly available on a single destination, a single landing page to give people instant answers. The employee and the spouse, they want an instant answer as they get down to crunch time on making a decision, or crunch time making a decision a little bit later on. And then videos without jargon. Make sure your videos they resonate. Make sure they're not filled with complex language. People know deductible, they know copay a little bit. They really get the two of them confused. And then everything in one location, as I said. So now I want to pause, and I want to just really talk about this polling question that's on here. So Sylvia, if you don't mind, pulling up question 2. Hello? Sylvia?
Yeah, the poll is up.
Okay.
Are
Oh,
you
okay.
not?
Sorry, I didn't see it.
It's okay.
Did you use a virtual benefits fair, virtual open enrollment communications tool last year? A lot of people just did kind of the same old, which is fine if you have a great system in place. Maybe you did license something. No, we just used paper and PowerPoint and webinars like last year. I'd love to see if people did something new last year, given, well, we all know what happened last year.
All right, I'll give it a couple more seconds here for people to get their results in.
Excellent, thank you.
And here we go.
Let's see here. Yes, we license a platform or product. Fantastic. I'm great to see that people did that. And we assembled our own tools. Awesome. So the largest was people did piece together some tools and some experiences that they already have. And I would bet it was well received. That might have been a lot of work for yourself, but your employees appreciated it. And maybe it's going to become a permanent piece of your communications. We've talked to some consultants and brokers lately that said, yeah, we use videos or we use communications for the first time last year. My gosh, was it so well received. So that's fantastic. And I'd love to hear in the chat or in the Q&A what you guys thought. If it was new, did employees really appreciate it? So awesome. Now, moving forward to the back half of our, our recommended process here of promoting. Now, just like Target did, just like Target sent you notifications or push alerts, you guys are doing it. Hey, open enrollment's coming here. You're sending out meeting invites. You're sending out flyers and postcards, sending benefits guides to their house. That's fantastic. Continue to promote your benefits. But now if we've taken our site and we've prioritized specific benefits and we've done it more frequently during the year, it gives us an opportunity to promote HSAs in 1 month and disability programs, or maybe it's paternity or maternity leave benefits. Promote those different times during the year. Then drive people to the site frequently during that period of time, making sure they understand what is the primary thing I'm trying to learn here. What is the call to action? Is it to subscribe to something? Is it to download a wellness app? Is it to join the wellness program or step competitions? Then once you have their attention by promoting it, and they've come a couple of times, make it simple for people to keep their attention on it. So, 15 to 30 minute long videos, you're going to lose their attention. Short, brief videos that resonate, that don't use a lot of jargon, that help people understand the benefit that they might be considering right now are fantastic. If you get their attention and then immediately they can click on a document or click on a link to understand a little bit more, or maybe even call somebody or text somebody or chat with someone, you're going to keep their attention. Facebook, social media, we all know what they're doing. They're engineered to keep your attention longer. Facebook measures seconds that people are on, and they A and B test constantly to keep people's attention. And so it's really important to be thinking like that. If you're trying to get people to appreciate your benefits, what are some ways I can keep their attention without losing it? And then perhaps give them instant answers. Also think about the non-linear learning needs. So somebody goes from a brief video to a handout to another brief video to etc. Are there tools or things you can do, banners or buttons or a photo or images at the top of something to say, hey people, look at this. This is new. Check this out. Recommend additional resources. So like YouTube, you watch a YouTube video, here's 12 other videos that we think you're going to like. That's really, really powerful. It's the Facebook, endless scroll. Here's an ad, or here's a vendor, or here's an advertiser we think you're going to like. They're trying to keep your attention on this. And I really want to encourage our employer clients and our partners to think this way. What are some ways we can keep their attention once we have it with some simple to use things? And then, right here is just another example of seeing whether or not or recommending additional content in another way. And then actually measuring this engagement, the final piece. January, everyone's going back to the gym because it's, New Year's resolutions and I got to drop my COVID-15. And so I promoted back to, our wellness program, our gym reimbursement program, our bike reimbursements or commuter credits. We promoted that in January. Did anyone even go? Does anyone even care? And so if no one came, well, then let's send out another promotion. Marketers are doing that constantly. No one clicked on it. I'm going to do it one more time. Or better yet, if it did work and a lot of people came, do it again. Carry out the promotion, continue to drive it. You got attention? Keep it. So measure the engagement. What was the top resources? What was the top print? What worked really well? Let's fine tune it. Let's continue to evaluate. And this can be done really, really efficiently. Borrowing existing videos, borrowing existing handouts. Your vendors have all these things. Use them to the best of your ability. in a single destination without driving them to multiple other locations. So then again, what you're trying to target is specific results. Is it higher engagement? Is it higher retention of information? Understanding high deductible health plans or individual HRAs, which we're seeing a lot of rumblings around right now. Higher awareness of new plans and wellness, or fewer questions or cost controls. Communicating more frequently is a huge piece of cost controls, because it does more than just maybe selecting a high deductible health plan versus a traditional plan to impact an employer's bottom line. Healthier employees, using your plans more efficiently, using vendors you've already chosen is a even bigger driver into bottom line costs. We've seen the cost of knee replacements and things like that, and what cancer can be, which is cancer is tied to unhealthy or unwell employees. So the more you can continue to drive, we all see in the ROI there. You'll see it in your bottom line the more you communicate more frequently during the year. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. Corey's going to talk about the do's and don'ts of concise communications now. So thank you very much, everyone. And here's Corey Erb.
All right. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Just going to go full screen here. And I apologize for the little bit of a delay here as we get this set up, as we switch over. And can everyone see my screen okay? Brian, can you comment on that?
I see your browser.
All right. Wonderful. Let's stop that. Let's try it again here one more time. All right. How about that?
I see it. Looks awesome.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Brian. So we're going to jump right into some best practices where we're going to just talk about do's and don'ts of concise communications while communicating more frequently. So let's go ahead and roll that. So let's talk about some do's. Do use short videos or webinars. And what we mean by that is you don't necessarily want to have a video that's longer than 5 minutes. And that's literally because that's about the average attention span for people in our society today in 2021. So it's really important that you consider to have shorter videos if at all possible. Obviously, some videos might need to go longer. You might need to use some voiceover PowerPoints that might be longer. Not necessarily the greatest thing to do if you're going to be having something that's really long. Let's use a voiceover PowerPoint as an example. If you're going, 40 minutes long on a voiceover PowerPoint, chances are very good that your audience, your employees, the spouses are going to drop off and say minute 10. We have a lot of evidence that kind of, backs that up. So think about putting that together in smaller chunks or little chapter points. Those are things that you can definitely do to make things a little bit easier. Do address different learning needs. Obviously, you have employees that are a little bit more visual learners. Then you have employees that want to, get into the minutia and read and understand some of the details. And so you need to kind of understand that spectrum by providing, visually engaging, pithy videos. That's definitely the way to go. And then being able to provide resources so somebody can get to the information quicker is definitely advantageous. Use examples that resonate. So think of it from a standpoint of, single, married with children, pre-retirement, getting ready to retire, in those life cycle areas. Try to apply some of these videos and some of these presentations, some of your communications that are going to resonate with your employee population. So give them kind of a range on that. Do use print if it's concise and it resonates. So we've seen good print that uses a lot of infographics, uses a lot of things that's really short and direct to the point, and then maybe a little bit more detailed in the back end, or pointing to detailed text information like a summary plan description. But if you're going to use an overview benefit guidebook that's going to use a lot of text and it's just sort of wall-to-wall text, that's not necessarily going to be as engaging and it's not going to resonate. So just remember that. Do reach out to spouses. Spouses can drive utilization and help with your return on investment. It's really important to remember spouses when you're communicating your benefits. So, you want to make sure that you're lifting any kind of restrictions or access if at all possible, so that they can get to that communications quickly. You do want to use welcome and orientation videos that are relatively short and pithy. And again, you can do an orientation or a welcome video, whether it's for new hire or for open enrollment, or for a special event of some kind, that can be short and cover what you're about to talk about, and talk about maybe things that are new for the new benefit year, without going into a long detailed video or a long detailed voiceover PowerPoint. Again, remember to keep those things short. All right, so here are some things not to do. So do not use jargon as much as possible. Obviously, in the benefit world, if you're joining us today at hr.com, chances are really good you kind of live in our ecosystem, right? So we kind of live, sleep, and breathe all of this vernacular on all of these technical jargons on a regular basis. And what I'm talking about is, using, premium deductible, out-of-pocket maximum, coinsurance, copay, HSA, FSA, HRA, sort of the alphabet soup of pre-taxed accounts. These are things that we all in our industry, we kind of throw it around, and it's definitely something to point out that we need to remember that our audience, as Brian did a good job of laying it out, that our audience is really the employees and the spouses, and chances are really good that they don't live, sleep, and breathe technical jargon within benefit and benefit terms. And so, trying to make sure that you're reducing it is really key. Some of the things that we do at Learn Your Benefits is we even have a video that's called Benefit Terms that visually articulates those terms in a quick way that kind of engages the employee and the spouse, so they have a foundation to go off of when they're actually reviewing and enrolling in their benefits. So that might be a typical solution, but obviously try to limit your jargon as much as possible. Do not make employees cram for open enrollment. You heard Brian talk about this a little bit and some of the statistics that we found, but oftentimes employers have their employees sort of drinking out of a fire hose, and that can be very problematic. If you think about how much information that's out there for the employees these days, that is just information. It's just data. So HR and all of us in benefits, we have a tendency to kind of make a list or stack up the things that we want to get in front of the employee and the spouse. So got to talk to them about their healthcare, got to make sure I have all my summary plan descriptions, got to make sure I talk about my voluntary plans, got to make sure that I'm compliant with anything that labor needs or the state or the federal needs. I got to make sure that I'm pleasing my boss or my executive team to implement things and policies that we're striving for today. And that could be a variety of different things, from diversity, equity, safety issues, all of it. So again, lots of information that's out there, and information, it's just data. It's not knowledge. And so it's very important that if you have a lot of information, you're packaging it, you're displaying it, and you're giving navigation and segmentation of that content, so that the employees and the spouses don't get overwhelmed and drowned within that data and that information. So don't make your employees cram for open enrollment exams. Give them time, give them resources, give them engagement in a way in 2021 and beyond how they learn today. Again, create videos that are no longer than 5 minutes. You heard me talk about that before. Again, you might go over, you might need to go over because of a variety of different things for content. But obviously, as a rule, you want to try to keep it to 5 minutes or less. Don't use too much text. You've heard me talk about this. This just comes down to the fact that most people today just don't prefer to read. We don't have a lot of time. We want to get a lot of information in a little amount of time. And so we'd rather pull up a video that helps us kind of visually understand what it is we're about to talk about than to read, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages of text. So video is definitely the way to go. And if you're going to use print, try to remove a lot of text and paragraphs, and try to replace that with some infographics and some things that are a little bit more visually engaging. Do not use firewalls. What I mean by that is firewalls or a username and password that you have to go to a certain site. That could be like a Ben Admin or a HRIS system. I'm not talking about the need to use Ben Admin or HRIS systems. In fact, those are great. What I'm talking about is making sure that when it comes to benefit communications and general information about the benefits, that you try to keep those sites open for the employee and open for the spouse as well. It's very important that you do that, just largely because you want to give spouses access to that information if and all possible. So definitely try to do that. And then don't just depend on a benefit guide during open enrollment. A lot of times employers will have a tendency to say, we're putting it all in our benefit guides. We're going to have a few decision support links, and we're going to have some videos out here and there and everywhere. But we're going to use our benefit guides as the end all be all. That's not necessarily the best way to do it. Make sure you're coupling that with your presentations, with videos. Have one centralized point. I'll talk about that in a bit on how to get that across. So these are some just general best practices of do's and don'ts. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kick off this polling question number 3, and I'll let that pull up. But as it's being pulled up, I'll go ahead and read it. What is preventing you or your organization from communicating and promoting your benefits more frequently during the year? 1, nothing. We're already doing it. 2, available time or staff. 3, available budget. 4, time and budget. 5, nothing. We don't need to. So go ahead and answer that, and let's see what kind of results we get, and then we'll kind of move on here in a second.
I'll give it another 10 seconds or so. Results are still coming in.
Sounds good. Right.
And here we go.
Okay, and it looks like our winner out of that, not that there was a wrong answer there, is available time or staff. So of having the time that you need to communicate and post your information. And that is definitely something that we hear a lot of all the time at Learn Your Benefits. So we'll talk about our platform and how that can help you with some of the time. So let's go ahead and get into how we help you exactly at Learn Your Benefits. So again, we are a video-focused communication platform that can pivot from open enrollment to onboarding or new hire and to everything in between. So that could be a specific event or a specific team building exercise or a diversity exercise, whatever the case is. We're going to help you to communicate and promote that. The biggest thing that you have to remember with our platform is we really believe in videos, and videos is the best way to resonate and to drive behavioral change. And because of that, we then want to be able to do short videos and then give resources and secondary contact and links all in one area. And that's really the power of our platform. So we talk a lot about our proprietary platform. Again, shuffle, promote, retain, evaluate. You heard Brian go through that. This is something that really permeates through our entire ecosystem at Learn Your Benefits, including our platform. We want to make sure that we're helping you move the needle and have more utilization for your benefits, more participation, more adoption in your benefits, and obviously healthier, happier, more productive employees that really appreciate your benefits and the total rewards that you're offering them. That's one thing that we definitely want to help you with. And as Brian mentioned, you can't just do it during open enrollment. We want to give you tools that are not going to take you a lot of time or cost you a lot of money, but tools that are going to help you communicate your benefits and show your employees and the spouses just how much you're doing for them year round. So that's definitely something that we do. As an example of shuffling our content and designs, as an example, you might have, say, one design and one video layout or video playlist with your very specific resources for open enrollment. That might last for 2 weeks or a month. And this is going to be focused solely on open enrollment, getting people up to speed on what you're completely offering and all of the time and all of the things that they need to know about that. And then after open enrollment's over, maybe you're going to pivot to an onboarding or new hire event. So you want a new design and a new video playlist. And then after that, maybe you're going to pivot to a financial wellness workshop or a health risk assessment event. And you need another design that's going to be more specific to that event. With our platform, even if you are a smaller organization, you just need one site, our platform will allow you to do all of that. And if you need multiple sites because you have multiple different segmentations, union, non-union, maybe you want to have all of these groups stand alone, where you want to have an onboarding site and a open enrollment site. You can do all of that, but we allow you to pivot your designs, your playlist of your videos, add or subtract videos accordingly, and then be able to put your resources in so that it's going to truly engage and educate your employees. Obviously, you've heard us talk a lot about video. Video is really the cornerstone of what we feel drives behavioral change. And so we have really three categories here at Learn Your Benefits. We have a complete stock library of videos on a variety of different topics that are available with all of our platforms. You can literally turn them on, turn them off, decide which kinds of videos you want. You can have all of them. You can have just a couple of them. You can have them in different categories. They're a great resource. But we also create semi-custom videos and custom videos. What's the difference? Well, semi-custom videos are basically a video template that we've created that allows for ease of use and for budgetary reasons to put your plan design information in. And what we do is we customize those with your brand and your logos. We actually customize it with custom voiceover. So if you call your employees team members, or you call your employees associates, and you call your plan the HSA Super Duper plan, we'll make sure that that resonates throughout the video. And when it's done, it really looks like a completely customized video, but it's done affordably, quickly, and we're able to do that. And then we obviously offer customized services. Our entire team here, we have from top to bottom, from the most junior designer and editor all the way up to the top, we have people that just build benefit videos and other communication videos for your organization. And we want to make sure we match your brand, your tone, your culture, and we're also targeting something very specific. So it could be a comparison between your traditional PPO plan and your high deductible health plan with an HSA. It could be something, an organizational change. It could be an orientation or a new hire video. Whatever the case is, we can customize those as well. And then, those are our three categories. But finally, I do want to point out that our platform also allows you to put in your own videos and third-party videos. So if you have videos from your providers, from your other vendors that you want to utilize, you've created videos yourself, you can actually put those videos in our platform as well. And you might think, well, hey, can I just put that on my BenAdmin or HRIS system or on our YouTube channel or whatever? Of course. But at the same time, you're not going to be able to track it, to manage it, to manipulate it, to update it and shuffle it whenever you need to. And that's really what our platform can definitely do for you. So let's talk a little bit about the incredible flexibility that your employee lifecycle solutions have with our platform. So we talked a lot about how, if you're a large organization, maybe you just want to focus on onboarding and you want to make sure that you're keen in on certain kinds of videos that are going to help boost retentions and bring more time to you. You might want to be able to maximize your value by boosting awareness during overall employment. So that might be just showcasing how utilizing your health savings accounts and getting pre-tax savings and all the great things that come with it. You might want to remind people to utilize that so that it can drive more adoption and utilization. Maybe even want to go into other things like talking about HSA investing for those folks that already have a health savings account and want to participate to get to the next level with them. You want to keep things family friendly. So maybe your goal is just to try to reach out to spouses and dependents and be able to do it in a mobile optimized way and in an open way, and have something in parallel with what you have behind your firewalls with your BenAdmin or HRIS system. So that can actually be done. And then finally, maybe you want to consider an offboarding event where you have a seasonal change and you're letting people go, or you're having people go off the payroll, and you want to talk about COBRA coverage, or you want to help them so that they can find another job or allow them to come back at a certain point. So those are other things that our platform can do. So just to kind of wrap up, at Learn Your Benefits, we want to evolve with you too. So a lot of our clients come in and say, we need video. Can you help us with a video? Absolutely. And we have different solutions that we can do. But again, we want to package everything up for you so that you're going to get the most value out of the videos. You're not just paying somebody to design a video and then somebody to host a video and then somebody to try to track the video and then somebody to load the video and rearrange it and be able to figure out how it can couple with your resources. We're going to make sure that you're going to get a tremendous amount of value out of that. We have people talk about web and mobile landing pages. That's exactly what our platform can do, which is going to resonate with the employee and the spouse so that they're going to get the information quicker. They're going to be able to get cut through all that information I just mentioned, that we're all sort of checking the boxes that they've got to have all of these things. We're going to make sure that they're going to be able to get the information that's most important to them, no matter where they are in their life cycle, whether they're a relatively younger employee and are new to the workforce and new to benefits overall, or they're an old pro and they've been with your company for 10, 20 years and they need very specific information or different information. We're going to make sure they can find it. And again, spouse communication is so key. We're going to help with that. We're going to make sure that it's as simple as you and HR, your HR generalist, cutting and pasting your specific Learn Your Benefits link into an email just to let them know that, hey, there's more information out there, or there's new information, or we're having an event, or an event is forthcoming. And what does that mean? We've heard you talk about how paper isn't working and how restrictive IT can be. And so what we do is we want to help you evolve and help give you solutions that can, help you overcome some of those issues. We understand that meetings aren't working great. And especially right now in our society with COVID, that people are scattered around the country, around town. You're doing lots of Zoom meetings. That doesn't always mean that going virtual is going to be more productive. We understand and we want to help you promote 52 weeks a year, not just during those 2 weeks or leading up to open enrollment, as Brian mentioned. And we want to help coach you or give you best practices on how to distribute and to promote 52 weeks out of the year as well. So again, we want to help evolve. We want to evolve with you and your benefit strategy, especially when it comes to communicating those benefits. Brian talked about some of these existing solutions that are out there and how we're different. I'll just quickly kind of cover these, and as well as sort of how we sort of stack up. A lot of times we get compared to decision support tools that use video. Hey, are you single or married? Click here. Are you, what kind of healthcare spending do you have? Do you have a lot of medical needs? Do you have a lot of prescription needs? And then it'll spit out an answer for you and say, well, based on what you told us, you probably need to be in this medical plan. Those decision support tools can be very helpful, but they're not necessarily helpful year round. Learn Your Benefits definitely differentiates there. It might not give you total reward options because they might be very expensive to give you total reward decision support tools for everything. So you might only have one for your medical plans. But what about everything else that you have? What about your voluntary ancillary plans? What about just communicating diversity and safety issues that are really important? What about third-party content? What about your existing vendors or your existing materials or existing videos that you already have, or videos that maybe your HR team or your executive team might want to communicate to your employees? We can help you with that. And then, a lot of times we get feedback that some of those decision support tools can be childlike or cartoonish, and it doesn't really match well within the tone or the culture of another organization. So we definitely try to add for differentiation and give you options there. Again, how we stack up with other video providers, we're going to allow you to shuffle content or designs, and other teams probably aren't going to be able to do it. So that's definitely something we want to do. We're going to give you analytics and customization. When it comes to custom solutions, we're going to be more affordable. We're going to help you to get things done quicker. We're going to handle the hosting and the streaming. We're going to give you real-time analytics. And then finally, how we stack up with Ben admin systems and HRI systems. Again, we are not them. We are a communications platform. We want to make sure that we're giving your spouses access because it's general information. We can password protect it or give you a single sign-on options as well, but they're not necessarily as engaging. Ours is. The information sometimes is hard to find, and then it becomes communication inside of those things can be an afterthought, and that's really kind of how we're different. So obviously we've worked with a lot of different clients, both large and small. We definitely have the capacity to work with any kind of other partners too, brokers, custodians, consultants, third-party administrators. But if you're an employer, please know that we work with, micro employers all the way up to employers that have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of employees, and we're happy to handle that. Finally, we have packages. I'll just kind of skim over this real quickly as we kind of wrap up here. But we have packages that are going to be fit for you depending on what you need to do and sort of what your goals are. And finally, we'll just wrap up with this last polling question, which is, given what you know about Learn Your Benefits and that we're a low-cost platform that provides value, would you like Learn Your Benefits to contact you to schedule a demo? Number one, yes, right away. I'm actively looking for a solution. Number two, yes, I want to see if you're better than my current solution. Number three, yes, I'm curious to see what's on the market. Number four, no, thank you. Just send me a video. Number five, no, thank you. I'll schedule one later via learnyourbenefits.com. Or six, no, just skip it. So with that, we're kind of wrapped up. I do appreciate your time. We'll let this polling question kind of filter out, but I will just kind of come back on here and let you know that we are definitely very happy that you were able to take some time with us today. We thank you. If you have any questions or follow-up that you need, please contact us at info@learnyourbenefits.com, or just check out learnyourbenefits.com to schedule a demo with us. And with that, I'll throw it back to Brian for any last comments. Brian. You're on mute, Brian.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Sylvie. I'm sure you can take it away from here.
All right. On behalf of HR.com, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Learn Your Benefits, and our speakers, Brian Gazella and Corey Erb, for sharing their expertise with us today. And a big thank you to the audience for attending. We will be sending you an email with your credit information within 24 hours. You'll also find the credits in your View My Credits page of your HR.com membership profile once the webcast has been archived. Your feedback is important to us, so please take a moment to fill out the exit survey that opened in a new window on your computer. I also put a link in the chat if you were able to grab it from there. Also, a reminder to please visit our sponsor booths in the exhibit hall. This concludes our webcast. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.